It's 11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
All right, welcome to the Daily Gun Show. Join us live each day during the week, starting 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. We're all about guns and all things gun-related. Today we'll cover upcoming topics of the week, the trading post on gun channels, and breaking in guns, along with some ongoing features. Please leave us suggestions and comments at dailygunshow@gmail.com. You can find this podcast afterwards on YouTube, iTunes, and Stitcher Radio. Our co-hosts today are myself, Jess Dano, Biker Bob, Island Z, and of course, G-Webs. So, any news to mention over the weekend before we start?
I was at the lake. I didn't hear any news all weekend.
Okay. Z, how about you?
No good news is good news.
All right. G-Webs, since you're going to take the first part, so let's go ahead and roll on over to the upcoming topics of the week.
Oh, yeah, so it's Monday, right? So we like to talk about what's coming up. We've got, as Dan mentioned, we're going to talk about the trading post over on Gun Channels today, which is timely because there's a bunch of new stuff over there. And then we'll talk about breaking in guns on the gun tech segment this week. Then we'll have our Second Amendment segment starting off tomorrow, where we're going to talk about 2A and public opinion. I thought we did that last week. We messed up there. Then, or did we already do that one? I guess we did it in popular culture.
Yeah, we did pop culture
Yes.
as opposed to public opinion.
Yes.
Then we got good idea, bad ideas, cats and dogs. I don't know where we got that one from. And then we'll figure out how to make that into guns. And then the AK47 buyer's guide. I don't know if we have a topic for that one, so we'll come up with something. Or if you'd like to suggest one, you can. Then we've got the CCW topic coming up on Wednesday. We'll talk about leather holsters and gun belts. Our entertainment segment this week is World War II movies and books. Then we'll do the tactical quiz Wednesday. Then on Thursday we'll do gun history, and we're going to be talking about the types of firearms and weapons in general available back at the writing of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. So kind of taking a perspective of what was owned by the government and what was owned by the people back then. Then we're talking about training, cool stuff versus real life, and then we'll talk about all the events that are coming up. Then on Friday we start with alternative gun topics, and what is this one? Current state of air gun tech and its applications. Then we'll be talking about the gun business and how to get the most out of a gun show. Have we done that one already?
We did, but we might have skipped over it. That's why it might be where it is.
Okay.
Certainly sounds familiar.
And then we do the opposite of what we're doing right now. We wrap up the week. So when Smeggy's available to do it, he helps us out with giving a recap of what was going on in the podcast. I know Dano's been listening to a lot more podcasts, and we'll keep people up to date with maybe what's going on YouTube videos, and then of course news of the week. And that'll help write our newsletter, which we then publish right now every other Friday. So I guess that's what's going on this week. If you'd like to participate in what we've got going on, of course you can listen to us live and listen to or you can participate in the live chats either on Gun Channels or over on YouTube, or you can email us at dailygunshow@gmail.com. And we appreciate the feedback, and we like to kind of create the show with the help of the audience. So.
And, you know, speaking of feedback, I'd like to thank Tony, who had sent in an email mentioning check out The Good, the Bad, and the Weird as a movie alternative. He says it's campy and subtitles, but it's a good gun movie. So thanks, Tony.
Well, next time just say thanks for sending in a movie, and then we can add it to the list, and then people will be surprised when it comes up. Oh, what was it again? Good, Bad, and Weird?
The Good, the Bad, the Weird.
Right on.
Yeah, we could still add it to the list because we didn't just discuss it.
And it'll be weeks before we hit that one, so.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so,
I've never seen it, so that'll give me time to check it out.
Yeah, same here.
I don't know if there's anything else that we got going on this week. I'll be heading out to California. Hawaii Volcano Squad is out doing his thing. So, yeah. There's private stuff going on out there, but everyone's knows the parties involved, so
Stay safe.
Yeah.
good wishes to everybody in general, and I encourage others to put their good wishes out there for the people that are out there that are remaining private about it. But there's some shit going on this week that I don't know. Z, you take it away. Just to say as general as possible, let's try to put some positive vibes out there for the people that are out there that want to keep their own private business private, but have some shit going on this week.
You never know if the person next to you, what they're going through. You don't know if the person that you meet at the grocery store, you don't know if it's anybody here, there, or anywhere. Just realize that you're not the only one going through life. You may be having a rough day. They may be having a rough day. They may be going through more stuff than you could possibly even understand. So just be aware that there's more to life than just any one of us. And just try and be good to your fellow human being, all right?
Yeah, it's a good time to bring up when we built Gun Channels, we built it as a place to have a conversation, and it's grown into a place that's become a community. We call it a community focused on firearms, but there's a lot of good people there, and we've got a lot of good friends. So.
And yes, this is the lovey-dovey section, the positive vibes, the good waves, whatever way you want to call it. That's definitely what we're trying to start this week off with, is some good vibes out there for everybody.
Yeah, if you're religious, it's time to pray, and if you're just of the type to send some positive stuff out there, this is the week to do it. For real life shit. And like I say, well, I know we're kind of being weird about it, but this is a good week to put some vibes out there to the community.
Yep.
All right, let's dig into whatever's next.
Well, in between the first and second segment,
we have a Gun Channels member. I believe that's next.
Yep. Were you just doing the beginning, or are you running the show?
I thought we were just doing the beginning.
I was just helping out at this point.
Whatever you need us to do, man. We just need the cue.
All right, well, I'm working on this cigarette. So.
All right. Well, then in that case.
That's something I can't help you out on. At least through the internet.
Well, all right. So we mentioned we just mentioned Gun Channel is a community. We focus on firearms. We built it a while back. It's membership driven, so we like to feature a member each day on the podcast here between the first and second segment. And I think I just randomly picked people that were in the chat one evening when I was setting up the schedule this week. So we got Priest first. There's a link to his bio in there. We've mentioned him before. I think everybody this week we've mentioned before. Just kind of a random sample again of the people that happen to be active. I think this was the evening or maybe early morning. So some of these people are probably just kind of on overnight and then some jumping on. Priest is here in Arizona and he's active in the community. So well, we built it.
Definitely a cool cat. I know that I've been in many discussions in the external chat with that gentleman, and he's pretty much he's on point. He's knowledgeable in different areas. I do notice sometimes when we're talking about either obscure stuff, whether it's movie or gun related or whatever, he can pull stuff out of the ether as well. So that's always good to have more people like that around as well. I think, wasn't he the gentleman that just ended up for the next section, the segue or whatever, he utilized the trading post just recently, and then basically just an all-around pretty good guy, man.
Yeah, there are two things that I'd like to say about Priest. Is one is that he's not a one-trick pony. In other words, he just doesn't know one specific thing, and then that's it. And the other thing, which I think is a great quality, and I certainly see in a large number, if certainly not the vast majority of Gun Channel's members, and that's the willingness to share that information with other people. So that's something that I know I greatly appreciate. I've used that service of Gun Channels, like when I was putting together my lower. It was my first one. I just did it fairly recently, and you know, videos can only show you so much, as well as a lot of times there's more than one way to do something. And I know you know, he was one of the people that was, you know, helpful in that project. So thank you.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
I mean, he's no Bob, but then again, who is, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
Don't you know?
But so we want to mosey on over to Trading Post.
Hitch up to the old trading post.
That's right. Catch on what's going on over there. Who's buying? Who's selling? Who's getting lucky, so to speak. Wait on my slow computer here to move. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
The squirrels are running in the background on my computer here.
Figure out what all screen I'm on here. So I think I can screen capture twice. Let's find out.
Right now, see, that's just crazy tech to me, bro. I couldn't even fathom doing that.
So I've got the YouTube thing going as well, but I guess I don't have audio over there, so I've just been playing with that. So yeah, we're talking about the Gun Channel's trading post. So easiest thing to do is probably just open it up again.
So if you go to the gunchannels.com main page, you can see a summary of the trading post there.
Yep. So when you go to the main page over on the left here, there's the last couple items in the trading post of showing up, and then you can always click on those, or you can go up to community and then down to trading post, and that just takes you over to it. So it looks like Ralph just posted a couple items. Actually, this thing's pretty sweet. 1,000-yard rangefinder. Name brand and everything. I'm not sure about it, but it sounds like a good one. And if Ralph bought it, it's probably decent. But it's in a Pelican case already, so those things can be kind of fragile. You're taking them out hunting. Anyway, for $100, that seems like a smoking deal. Then this rangefinder. Threw up this 3 spam cam patch set for $20, trying to raise some funds for the trip still. So threw that up there. I think this one's already gone. Priest we were just talking about Priest.
Guru also has the trigger pull as well.
Yeah,
Trigger pull gauge.
Yeah.
For $30, which is pretty good price for a Lyman trigger pull gauge.
He says the newest one he can find is 56, so it's almost.
Yeah, it's near half off.
So I guess we're kind of just mentioning some of the things that are in here. You can see it's a wide variety of stuff, and it's been successful for people over the time we've been using it. If you want to add something as a member, just go in and click on Post a New Listing. It's hopefully as intuitive as possible. Just fill in the information. Of course, every time we try to post something here, it's lagging. So.
And people also post things they're looking for. They're not necessarily selling. As well as, don't be concerned about if you scroll down that everything's sold out, because you know there are things from earlier this past winter that I know are still for sale, because one of them happens to be mine.
Which is what, Dano? Just so we bring it back up.
That's
since
the
this is that part
mag
of the
holder.
section.
It's a horizontal mag holder for left-handed people. So it actually goes on your right side, or I should say the correct side.
Oh.
Oh. Somebody was going to hit me on that sooner or later, so I figure I better strike first.
Well, that might be the correct side, but left-handed is a sin. So I mean.
Aye.
So what can you do?
Yep. And if you go down to the bottom, and there's some multiple pages after that, again, of things that may have sold, but not necessarily. So check it out.
And then, like Dan was saying, if you want to look at stuff that's already posted, you can browse for it by the category, or if you know the person, or what type of listing it might be, or whatever. So it's not the biggest frills. It's a working trading post, though, and like I say, it's pretty self-explanatory. If you do have questions, though, feel free to ask anybody in the main chat, or message any of us, and we can walk you through it. We have another section over here. I'll just open that in another tab. That's one of the channels. I think who built this thing, Great Lake, or built this channel a long time ago, and this is where a lot of people post good deals, something like a sale somewhere, panic buy-in, whatever. This way, it's not necessarily something you're selling, but something you're letting people know about. And you can see Dead Horse is real active over there, posting stuff. So you can either just subscribe to the channel. You know, once you're on gun channels and you subscribe to a channel, it's going to definitely show up in your feed. Otherwise, you just watch the main page there, and it'll show up.
Yep.
So I don't know. We're probably a little bit ahead of time here, but not a heck of a lot to say about it. If there's any questions specifically about it, of course, we're watching the chats out there. So anybody that has a specific question about it can feel free. There's no charge or anything to use the trading post. There's no commission or anything. It's obviously we kind of police it, and there's nothing inappropriate. But nobody's really posted anything inappropriate, so it's never been an issue. But there's no cut or anything that you're paying to gun channels. It's just one of the...
And Priest has a comment out in the gun channel chat. Maybe mention on ways you can transfer money online. Flippy and I used PayPal, is what he's saying. I also noticed that is PayPal is what Guru had requested.
And a tip so that you can reduce your fees is to use the option of sending money to friends or family, and then you won't get charged a fee on top of it.
Well, I thought it was gift.
That's basically the same thing.
Okay.
That you're buying something or you're giving it to somebody, and then they call it friends and family as opposed to merchant. But so PayPal is an online system, and I'm assuming most people that are listening to this are familiar with what it is if they don't already have an account. But it's definitely one of the most convenient ways to do it. You can always send somebody a check or cash. Most likely we have to deal with that more on Gun Broker, where a lot of people don't like to use PayPal, or you can't use PayPal for guns. So most people won't want to use it on Gun Broker and stuff. So if you are going to be using it for some other kind of transaction, then obviously be careful what you put in the notes. DB's told some stories about his involvement with that stuff back in the day.
Yes, sir.
I'll call literally.
But I like PayPal for the convenience. I know whether it's I'm getting the money or sending the money, I know it's already there, and that the money's not going to cause some sort of future issue. So I like PayPal for that.
I have to admit I didn't start using PayPal until I was on gun channels, and now it seems like I use it all over the place.
Well, yeah, PayPal's convenient. It is quite simple to use. I mean, as an example, I actually know how to use it, so it's got to be pretty easy.
There it is, folks. Straight out of the Canadian's mouth. If Bob can handle using PayPal, you should be able to handle using PayPal.
That is the ultimate endorsement of PayPal, is Biker Bob can use it. What more needs to be said?
Exactly.
So do you want to head into our break?
Was there anything else? I mean, we're rolling right along here. We're doing pretty good.
Right, I'm just asking. Anything else on trading post we wanted to hit?
I don't think so. We're not seeing any other
questions or anything.
So let's see. So that'll take us into the next segment of the show. Before we break into that, or before we go to that one, I'd like to mention something to if you'd like to participate, keeping the show going. We've got Every Second Matters coming up. One of the reasons we do the show is to keep the pipelines open and to get practice at doing better presentation and better live shows like this, so that we can impress everybody tomorrow during the Every Second Matters show, and have a worthwhile working conversation for them to join in on. So at least a big aspect of it is the Every Second Matters project. So tomorrow is Every Second Matters, so we'll be doing a long show again, probably starting right after the daily show. We'll do an Every Second Matters live event, and we'll invite as many of the gun owners' rights organizations as we can find contact information for, and offer them an opportunity to jump in at their leisure for as long as or as little as they'd like. And the concept is to create an 8-hour environment online each second of the month that people can, or that the gun owners' rights groups representatives can use to as a platform, like the Gun Rights Policy Conference is once a year. So stay tuned for that. If you'd like to support it, you can grab patches and shirts and stuff like that. Otherwise, there's really nothing else to do, except, of course, get active in the Second Amendment. We've lost too many states in too many ways, and we've got to start standing up here. It's an important year to do it. So remember that tomorrow's the 2nd.
Yeah, you can get ready for it today if you want.
Yep.
Today is the 1st, so tomorrow is the 2nd.
Thank you, Captain Obvious.
And you're welcome, Private Numbnuts.
All right,
So
then that'll take us into our third segment. We're cruising along today, so this will be
We're flying at warp speed here.
do a gun tech segment once a week, and we usually get the topics from the Gun Channel's chat. And a while back we got this one, breaking in guns. So this is really just for 1911s and high powers, I think.
Oh, well, now we got an echo going here somewhere, but I think we can talk about that. You know, what, depending on the make model, you know, do you think that an AR has a break-in period? Do you think that, you know, depending on what kind of revolver or where it comes from, is going to have a break-in period? I know you're making jokes about the 1911. Somebody says cars. I know Kimbers. Depending on who's making it, will it tell you to expect a break-in period on stuff. So does anybody have any personal experience with having to break in their firearm? And if they would, please let us know what firearm that was. And I mean, that goes for you guys out in the chat. That's Gun Channels and or YouTube, if you would.
yeah, Moon is saying 200 rounds is the break-in period in the manual, although he didn't say which gun it was for.
Car, I believe.
Okay, because I know he's heavily into CZs as well.
Is that what you call it? Heavily into CZs?
Happily.
Happily, heavily, he definitely.
Happily,
Upset.
forever and ever. Amen. And then, speaking of Priest, he says there's a barrel break-in period as well for rifles, especially precision rifles. But then Moon is coming back, no break-in for the CZs, at least not in the manual.
What's a Super Black Eagle? Anybody? I bet it's a shotgun, but because Matt's out there with my Super Black Eagle needed a break-in period in order to shoot the lighter birdshot load. So I'm gonna have to assume that it's some form of a shotgun, but.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. Now, Sean Ponnery's also said his SR 1911 smoothed out pretty well after about 150 rounds. But then again, we are talking about a 1911 style pistol, which has its own unique issues.
Well, and I will go with my TRR8. It was smooth out of the box, the trigger, but it continues to get even more smooth. So I don't know if there was a break-in period per se, but it just keeps getting better.
Now, I have had what I didn't know at the time, I thought it was a break-in issue, but it ended up being an ammo issue, was, this was a long time ago, when I tried using some aluminum case stuff that was not functioning well in the chamber. But, you know, once I went to either steel cased or brass cased, it ran fine. But it just did not handle the aluminum at all. And that's part of, you know, at least in my mind, part of the break-in is finding out whether it's range ammo, and specifically if it's going to be used for self-defense, what sort of carry ammo or self-defense ammo works well in your firearm. Because what works well in mine may not work well in yours.
And what was that again? What firearm was that you're talking about, Dano? I missed that part. My bad.
I was referring to anything that you're going to use for self-defense, whether it's, you know, a shotgun, whether it's a handgun, a revolver, it doesn't matter. That you need to make sure whatever you're going to use for self-defense, that it works well in your gun. Because, like I said,
I agree with that. I was just asking what your personal example was, just whether it was to make the model or whether it was a pistol or a rifle. That's what I was trying to ask.
I apply that to all guns that you're going to use for self-defense, whether it's on body or in the closet.
What gun wouldn't shoot aluminum ammo?
Thank you. Of yours.
I
That's what I was
couldn't quite
asking.
hear Bob. I'm not sure if that was intentional or accidental, but I couldn't hear him.
Okay.
No,
What gun were you having problems with the aluminum ammo with?
That was a Officer's 1911 back in the 80s.
from Colt?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. No, that's what I was trying to ask.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah,
And
because I went from the aluminum into self-defense ammo and didn't make much of a smooth transition, I guess, or too smooth, I guess.
then we got Priest out there, right eye, my Smith and Wesson revolvers, smooth out with use. Sean Ponnery's out there with PC guns, are great right out of the box. The only oddity is I had was the set screw on my mainspring on the competitor backed out a little, which can cause light primer strike. So this is the, I guess, the break-in period is supposed to also be further quality control by you, the user, owner, operator. Would you agree with that, gentlemen?
Oh, yeah, for shock and vibration, that's exactly what you can get. I mean, it's more than just the barrel, and I think that's exactly what that comment illustrates.
Yeah,
I mean,
find out what works for your gun. That's kind of part of what you're doing when you're breaking it in.
Well,
I guess I'm also implying, though, that, like, did you get a Wednesday gun or did you get a Monday or a Friday gun? Like, whether the spring, the screw, the this, the that, like you're saying, like he's kind of saying how it backed out and caused light primer strikes. The break-in period technically would also be for any one of us to, like I said, continue to monitor quality control of your brand new firearm. And if there is anything that breaks in the break-in period, you definitely, because I know DB's also had problems or issues, should I say, with brand new guns. And I don't know how he draws that short straw like that, because it's happened to him more than once with different manufacturers' firearms. And
Just because DB breaks guns.
maybe. I mean, did he teach VSO how to do that? I don't know.
and he's had H&K issues.
Man, the poor guy, he's had SIG issues, he's had Smith issues, he's had
Ruger issues.
I don't think too many Ruger issues, but
okay.
he's had to send them literally straight back. He's even had an issue with the Glock. Now, he's one of the few people that I've heard about Glocks, and I hadn't heard anybody on the panel say anything about a break-in period for a Glock so far.
You see,
I don't know that I will.
About ancient history here, but you're talking about his giant ass head. So just because the Glock shoots 9mm ammo in a certain trajectory, it's not their fault. You got a big ass head in the way. If the gun's going to shoot the same for everybody else, they had to like readjust it for the gravity from his head would suck the rounds over to it.
Yeah, if he's had trouble with all these different brands,
we did all the science on this, trying to figure out, because it couldn't be the Glock's fault. So we figured out that it's the gravity from his big ass.
Hey, Glock makes Monday and Friday firearms just as. They probably even make more because they make more firearms than a lot of other companies. We just happen to be more lucky or more consistent. There you go. That's a good way of looking. And yes, that's exactly it. Moon's got the right idea on that. He rolls through stuff.
But that's also, what makes it sometimes so reliable are those loose tolerances. And some people will poo-poo Glocks because, it has that, if you shake it, it has a little bit of a rattle sometimes to it. Well, those looser tolerance enable it to be more reliable.
And less accurate.
Well, not always necessarily on either one of those, but generally, yes.
Bob, well, I don't necessarily agree on that at all. I mean, do their sights stink? Absolutely. And if you upgrade your sights, can you get significantly better? Absolutely. But there are people that compete with G34s, G35s just to start there, and those aren't the only ones that do spectacular with Glocks out on the range in competition.
See, and Dano, I took what Bob was saying as looser tolerances means just less accuracy in general with any firearm is what I was taking it as, not necessarily Glock-centric.
Yeah.
But that's also why I said not necessarily.
I think Bob's backing out of that one after somebody saved him. But okay.
No, well, all right. Honestly, Bob, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Oh no, of course it was. I mean, you know.
Of course it was now.
But here's the thing, like what Z's saying about the Monday guns, the Tuesday guns. So really, in a sense, it would be behoove a person to buy a Chinese-made gun because they don't give those people days off. So then it's the same all week.
Yeah, but see, in China, you don't know if they made the mistake in quality control that they just didn't go out and kill that person and then just put another person in. So you don't know if that dude even knows the job that he's doing. I don't necessarily consider the Chinese quality control to be any better.
I don't
As a
know.
matter of fact, on a base level, I'm going to consider it to be slightly worse. Because how much does the Chinese crap that they build over there break?
Yeah.
But again, this is I guess we are talking about breaking in guns, so I guess we can carry it with that. But I'm just going with some of the experiences that I've had with Chinese-built things in general.
Because you haven't had a lot of experience with their guns.
Yeah. Well, I mean, China.
I can say that. Whether it's like what the Type 53 or the AK or Norinco or any of that, I definitely have not. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like to get a Polytech at one point, but other than that, yeah, I have no real experience with Chinese firearms.
And
I
on
can
that note,
honestly admit that. Yeah. Anything else on breaking in guns? Let's see. Is there anything?
That's.
So are we going to address rifles, or are we just going to talk about pistols?
Well, definitely.
I don't
Please
think
do.
everything, at least that I've talked about, applies equally to rifles as it does handguns. Like I talked about self-defense stuff. Whether it's a rifle or a handgun applies to both. As far as the shakedown period applies to both.
Now, G, are you kind of talking? Are you like smoothing out the barrel kind of a thing? Are you talking about, or where it loads up with a little bit of I don't want to call it dirt, but it slightly fouls, but you can kind of get a more accurate shot after the first few, or what are you kind of?
Yeah, I'm talking about breaking in barrels.
Yeah.
Bolt action with a couple hundred rounds.
Yeah. Well,
and it's a requirement for any continued consistent accuracy, correct?
I don't do it.
No. Well, let me throw out a question. Is there a difference in breaking in a barrel between a pistol and a rifle since they're both barrels?
Just different. Yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and educate me on the break-in differences between the two.
What's going to break in on a pistol barrel? The pistol barrel, you're stressing it to make sure that there's not a bubble or something in the metal, right? That there's not a rip or a tear, a fissure that's about to happen. With the rifle barrel, you're, like Z is saying, you're getting it tuned.
Like a seasoning on a cast iron pan is a good way to look at it. You're trying to, yeah.
You're not looking for errors. You're trying to get it consistent. So you're gonna shoot it until I don't know what they're doing. People have all kinds of routines and methods, and it's people that I don't know. Maybe they just have nothing else to do because they go up to the rifle range, and you got to shoot slow there anyway. But I suspect there's more to it than that.
I mean, I've always assumed, I don't know this, but I've always assumed that whether it be competition shooting of various types, that was also required within handguns. That you want to, quote-unquote, season the barrel because an inch off can make the difference between winning and losing.
Well, no shit, but I can't imagine a pistol barrel being an inch off, and by shooting a few hundred rounds through it, how are you going to help it? If anything, you're going to slop it up.
That's what I was thinking, because the fouling would build up faster in the shorter barrel than in the long barrel. It gets spread out more evenly, and especially these guys that they got the 23, the 22, the 26, 27-inch barrels, right? And these guys are, even if they're precision shooters or they're bullseye shooters or competition shooters or what have you, if I ever get a chance, I'm gonna ask a military sniper if they'll tell me like what is their break-in period on a barrel that they have.
That'd be a good question.
Now, here's the thing, though. Since he's in the military, is he going to tell me one or two, and then because it just got cleaned before it got put away or whatever? You know, so that's going to be a different answer from somebody that shoots either long distance or, you know, super accuracy guys.
Priest is saying basically the same thing that I've heard, that he's never found one consistent method for rifle break-in or barrel break-in process. For every expert who says it's legit, you can find another who says it's bullshit. He says he does it for his precision rifles and nothing else. Yeah, I only would do it if I had a fancy rifle, but then I don't know. I guess I would just go to whoever could coach me or help me out and just go with their advice, because pretty much everybody has their own. And I can't remember. I don't dig that much into it, but I don't remember anybody saying everybody else is wrong, my way's right. It's just that everybody's got like the way their grandpa told them or something.
Yep.
So it's like fishing. Nobody's doing it wrong. As long as you're fishing and catching fish, you're catching. So as long as you're hitting what you're aiming at, you're doing it right. It's just that everybody has their own way of, you know, salt in the pan.
Exactly. I think that's a good way of phrasing it.
I'm definitely glad we stuck with the subject to address that, because, yeah, it is totally different to me, in my mind, from when we talk about pistols to rifles like that.
So why don't they just do this at the factory? Why do they make us do it? Like they're making us buy ammo.
Cost.
Oh, well, I was going to say either ammo cost, but here's the thing, though. I guess if it blows up or bulges or breaks on us, you know, they can do warranty work or whatever. But if it happens in the factory or whatever, they never had a chance to actually sell the rifle in the first place. So could that possibly be a thing, or just literally cost of ammo and time? Like they don't have time to run 200 rounds through each pistol and or each rifle before it ends up going in the box. And then plus, they don't actually clean it after the target shots, do they? Does anybody know?
In the company, but probably not really that many of them. Depends on the company.
I mean, maybe run a bore snake or something like that through it, but that might be it.
No, not even maybe. I don't know. It depends on also where it is and its testing. I mean, that's probably not the last thing that's done to it. So if they're going to look at it one more time or something, then they probably clean it just so they can inspect it. But I've gotten guns that are dirty and they're brand new because they ship it. So I don't know. It just depends.
And Sean Ponnery's out there definitely, probably because they want to deliver a pretty-looking unfired, unissued, or pretty-looking unissued firearms to dealers, so people don't suspect that they're getting a used one that was cleaned. That could definitely, because would you consider getting a firearm that has 200 plus rounds through it? Would you consider that to be new anymore?
I wouldn't consider it new, and I'd put my own 200 rounds through it, so it seems kind of pointless.
Okay, okay.
I mean, I don't consider it new once it's been fired.
Well, but here's the thing, though, Dano. They do fire it at the manufacturer before it comes to us. So
right, that's a function safety test. I mean, as far as user fired.
Oh, okay.
Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it's not a function test. I mean, they might function test it, but they're making these guns by the thousands. They don't need to verify that the gun works. They know the gun works. Those cartridges are from the stupid-ass country, cities or states or whatever it is that wants a spent case for their stupid law, their infringement. So.
But wait, what is it? What does that part mean though? Then when it's the infringement part, what is it like due to ballistics? What's the story?
They shoot a gun and provide spent cartridges so that they can have their fantasy that's somehow going to solve any crime, since it's never solved a crime and has no real way to solve a crime. But anyway, that's why it's an infringement, because they're adding to the cost and everything of having those stupid cases in there. But I'll bet you that's why they're in there, and that's why the guns are uncleaned. Because, like you say, if they were doing their test firing, more than likely that is also a stress test, or function test, as well as accuracy test. I'm assuming, because most of the times I've seen guns being assembled, it's not like they take them to a range after. I mean, sometimes if they're small batch guns or something, they'll shoot them to make sure. But North American Arms doesn't need to. They shoot each gun, but they don't need to shoot hundreds of rounds through it to make sure that the gun works. They've been building that gun for a long time. They know it works. Any company can do that, or would know that. But anyway, I'll bet you that's why they leave them unfired or uncleaned, is because of that stupid some kind of thing where they have to prove that they were shot last or shot right before they left.
Yeah.
Perhaps some kind of requirement.
Now, in those states, are you required legally to maintain possession of that spent casing?
I don't
Do you
live there.
know?
I think they just never come to you. Like we all get them because the gun companies don't know which guns are going there, so they just shoot every gun. So that's why all our guns are dirty because of those stupid states and the stupid
Okay.
law. Stupid states really.
Okay.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that whenever they come to the gun shop, they probably get taken out and attached to 4473 or something stupid. Maybe sent into the cops. I really don't know. That'd be interesting to try to find out more about that.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I was absolutely wrong, and you're absolutely right.
Now, another thing that this illustrates, though, this whole concept of having to uh, break in a gun, is how little all these other gun companies care about you. Because Glocks don't need to have any kind of thing. I mean, you might want to shoot it 50 times just to make sure you didn't get that, what you guys call a lemon, but we'll just say perfection just isn't right dead on perfection. But 50 rounds and Glock works. But all these other companies, they just don't care. They just send them.
And how often is it really, if you do have an issue in that 50 rounds of the Glock, that it's the magazine or the ammo and not the actual
No.
Glock itself?
I don't know if anybody's ever had an issue in those 50 rounds, so never actually happened yet.
Some of the early Gen 4 Glocks with the return recoil spring assembly did have issues, but that has been long since fixed.
Yeah,
But
they
I'm
use
saying-
Snopes. That's all just all Snopes.
I couldn't hear you. What do you say at the end? It's all what?
He said it's all Snopes,
Oh, okay.
which is why I was cracking up. It's a ploy by the man to keep us down, basically, Dano.
Gotcha.
Man, I think we did pretty good on that. We went a lot
yeah.
farther with the breaking in than I thought we were gonna, and I think we did a
Definitely.
really good job.
So let's
I've talked
on
to
over.
so Priest is saying about the guy who test fires the guns. How do you get that job? And I'm sure the novelty would wear off. I've talked to a couple of people over my travels that are in charge of that job. Yeah, and none of them like it. It's sort of like they got to go do it kind of thing. No, so I think that's sort of like when I was a kid and I met the dudes working in the armory when I still wanted to work in the armory. So I was always snooping around trying to do extra help or whatever I could. And they're all like, get the hell out of here. If you like guns, like, go away. Like, don't ever come near here. You'll hate guns when you're around here. So I think you can get too much of something and then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, like how many mechanics, out of all the mechanics in the world, as a hobby, go and work on cars?
Yeah.
Or think about the guy that works at the brewery and or the ice cream factory.
Yep.
More so the ice cream factory guy.
Well,
And
All right. So we ready for the gun store of the day?
I don't know. Are we ready?
That's the question.
sure. So we mention a gun shop every day. I encourage people to get out to their brick and mortars and to share those with others. This week, we're looking at Vegas gun shops. So this first one is All Weapons, and I need to go look at the thing myself because I don't remember.
As I said, when I looked at the name, I didn't recognize it at first. I mean, I know a few of the other ones we're going to be going through later this week. I definitely recognize them from either videos from you and or other people.
This was in 2012, I think. Is there a date on here? Yeah, 2012. I think we went out there like a week before SHOT Show this year, or that year, because we were still doing the gun show, or the, so this is
that was Guns Across America tour, yes?
No, that was in October of 12. This was in January of 12, so stupid ass Sandy Hook was in December of 12. Right?
Yeah.
So this was a year before that. This one when everything was rocking and basically making good YouTube money and having fun making videos. So I was like, well, we're taking everybody up to SHOT. Everybody that could went up a week early, and we went to a different trade show. There's a trade show there the week before SHOT for surplus stores. So that was really cool. And then
Yeah.
started checking out gun shops back then. So this one was one that we kind of started on the northwest side of town and started working our way towards the center. And this one's pretty far out there, and it's gone now, I think, because I tried to, whenever I was posting the picture of this one more recently, I looked for it, and it's not even a website for it anymore. But it was sort of you can see it's a strip center. They had recently moved, I think, from that middle one where the sign's missing to the end one. And it was a pretty nice shop. It was two storefronts wide, so I'm thinking that's 2,000 square feet maybe. Oops. And then you can't tell anything. I didn't get any pictures. They were one of those shops that wasn't down, you know, wasn't cool taking pictures. But you kind of walk in, if I remember right, and the first half was all like your web gear and kind of cheesy, a lot of Condor type of stuff. And then the other side was all like your gun accessories and cleaning kits and some, I don't know, kind of run-of-the-mill holsters, kind of stuff you'd find at a big box store, honestly. And then the whole back of the store was guns, and they had gunsmithing services, and they had a lot of different kind of their example works on the wall, if I remember right. So they were friendly enough, but for whatever reason, they didn't want us to take pictures or whatever, so don't have any other pictures besides the outside one there. But the whole, I don't know much else to say about it. It's a shop that doesn't exist anymore, so I'm kind of glad at least I got one picture of it. But
right, you're able to preserve it for in perpetuity and everything like that. But
You,
that's a shame, and that's one of the reasons that you're out there doing the gun show loophole and touring all these gun stores is because they're definitely in need of some help.
do you have that picture to screen share?
I think I was. Oh, wasn't I? I was.
I don't see it.
Well, I was screen shared it to the other one. I can go back to it. Hold on.
Okay. Well, no, that's all right. As long as everybody else saw it.
No, nobody saw it because I was screen sharing it to 8 people watching it on the other channel. So sorry about that. I went down to the video description is where it's at, and clicked on the. Oops. It's not the best picture ever, but like I say, it was just sort of a storefront picture, and it was these two segments of the store there. I think they had just moved over, so about half their, well, a quarter of their inventory was still over here. They had it open. I think we went over there and looked, and we had like this year we had maybe 4 of us in the car, so we were all kind of looking at our own different things. So I think we must have done a video on it. We were doing videos out the butt back then, so there might be a video about this one. I'd have to go dig into the channel for it.
Well, even if it was 20 by 25 feet, G, that might have actually been 2,500, so it's probably more like 1,000 feet.
Okay.
When I was just looking at that storefront right there, that's probably like a 20 by 25 for each.
And that could have been because I was trying to just figure out how deep they were, and no matter what, it was not that many feet of storefront or walk around space or whatever floor space. It was mostly gunsmith room in the back. Whatever amount of space it was, I had no idea what the total amount was.
Nice. And again, like I was just saying, dude, I'm glad that you're out there. You're trying to, even if they don't know it, dude, you're out there trying to help them. Between the Daily Gun Show here, the Gun Show Loophole Tour, you know, trying to promote it.
Help them, because I'll call them out too. I imagine I'll wander across the shitty ones because hopefully people won't, you know, show us or direct us to places that suck or whatever. But I don't know. I did happen. Bob's here. We were that kind of brings to mind. We were looking in trying to talk and type here. We were in Albuquerque looking at gun shops, and then we kind of made a wrong turn or something, so we were going to need to make a U-turn, and it was easier to pull into a parking lot and make a left or whatever than to try to make a U-turn for whatever reason. When we did that, we noticed we're in the parking lot of this surplus store. And I was like, oh, score. You know, I didn't have this on my map. I thought I had mapped them all out on Google or whatever and then had a pretty good itinerary for the day or whatever, a map. And I missed this one. Well, it turns out it's not one that I had missed, but one that when I looked at the reviews, every review was bad, like just super negative, just really yelling at this store about everything. So I figured, well, if we've only got a finite amount of time, we'll miss the ones that are crappy. But little did I know, it was like a block away from another shop that we did visit, so it was real easy to just stop there then. We went in there, and yeah, they were a little crotchety, I guess, Bob, but man, they had one of the coolest shops ever.
Yep.
Just actual surplus.
Yeah, just, yeah, not the most pleasant experience.
Oh, really? I was going to say, because sometimes I don't mind a little bit of little bit of edge, so to speak, or a little bit of gruffness. Sometimes I find that to be character.
Oh no, it wasn't so much that. It's like awkward. Like they were pro-Trump, I guess, way back then, and just everybody was they just assumed everybody was on board with them, and they wouldn't even let you leave. They were like, "Oh yeah, and here's another reason why we should be talking about Trump right now."
Okay, yeah.
Store out, and we're gonna be leaving now, and they're like, "Yeah, let's talk about Trump more."
Yeah, I know. It was funny.
Yeah, that can be tough.
Okay.
So
Let
anyway,
me just take.
transition.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just transition into this. As I mentioned, or Z mentioned, going on the tour. So anybody that wants to suggest a spot, you can. I'll drop the link here, and you can just go in here, put your name if you feel like it or not, and then mainly what the place is and where it's at, and let us know about the cool gun shops and Serpo stores that are out there. And
When I went into mine on Friday, the layout had changed. I walked in and the store was like different. The counters were different. The glass cases were in a different spot. Like the flow of the first room was different and everything. I like walked in, looked around for a second, like did one of the stupid things, the joking things where I like literally stuck my head back out the door to look at the sign to make sure it was the same place, and I cracked them up and everything like that. But I love it. I just love it.
Okay.
You never
We
know
all
what
set?
you're gonna find.
It's like walking in a new store, right?
Yep.
I don't want to jump the gun. Ha 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 ha. But anything else?
I'm gonna seek cover.
Oh, geez, Daniel.
All right. That's right. It is time for the Tactical Pop Quiz. And the way this works, for those of you that may not have heard this before, is Z is going to keep an eye on the YouTube side. I'll keep an eye on the gun channel side. And the first person to type in the correct answer, as we've determined, is the winner of the daily Tactical Pop Quiz, and you win a prize. Congratulations. So the question of today, so get your fingers ready, get them on the keyboard, get yourself comfortable, and get ready to type in the correct and acceptable answer. So the question is, what is a common slang term for the cylinder in a revolver? What is the common slang term for a cylinder in a revolver? First one to answer that is the winner.
Well, I should screen capture my screen because I'm watching both screens. Right?
Ah, winner. Sean Connery.
Yeah.
Oh, that was close because Tony's came up right then. Did you see how I got them both on my screen at the same time?
I did. Do we need a quiz off?
are you saying can we do an instant replay? Because I might be able to do an instant replay.
Oh man, if you can do an instant replay, G, that would be fantastic. Actually.
Yes.
If this instant replay, see what happens here.
Because yeah, I literally was looking at both and.
So I'm going to go to my double feed here that I'm simulcasting over on gun channels, right? And it's going to show up. Oh, stupid commercial. Hold on.
Last weekend,
That's the ILA commercial. It's not terrible.
Yep.
And then I can back up in time.
Time Traveler, Doctor Who.
Do 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 do. And by do I don't mean do.
and the way this works, for those of you that may not have heard this before, is revolver.
All right.
First one to answer that
Can everybody see the screen okay?
is the winner.
Yep.
Screen capture my screen.
Wheel, boom.
Yep.
Boom. Definitely first.
John Bonner. Yeah. Oh, that was close.
Connery was first.
Yep.
All
I
right.
mean, it was like 2-second difference.
Isn't
So-
that? Yeah.
Go ahead and use the same form. Your other stuff's already out, but
Yep.
got some strategies in mind here to take care of.
Yes, multiple time winners will be experiencing a different set of
Guidelines
things.
in the future, I think.
Yeah, so don't worry about getting the same prize pack if you've won multiple times, Mr. Connery.
Mr. Shot. But for those of you listening, I know G-Web's typed it in, but for those of you in the future or listening, if you do win, fill out the form over at dailygunshow.com/popquiz. And if you have any comments, suggestions, etc., send those email comments to dailygunshow@gmail.com.
And that makes Sean Ponnery our tactical pop quiz hot shot of the day.
I like that. Hot shot of the day.
Thank you so much for playing, folks.
Yep. So, Bob, are you sober? I mean, are you there?
Whoa, whoa,
Oh,
whoa. Dano, you got to go sit in the corner for that one for just a second,
well,
okay?
it slipped out. I didn't realize it was 3 in the afternoon my time.
yeah.
You know, because it is 5 o'clock somewhere.
Well, not here.
Definitely not here, dude. It's barely 9:58 a.m. I'm not even anywhere near thinking about a cold beverage like that. But anyway, well, you were asking Bob something.
Did you have a gun of the day picked out? And if so, what?
Yeah, I do, and it's the Steyr AUG.
Nice. Excellent choice, Bob.
Yeah, I love those guns. I always have. I'm always surprised that the only military that really seems to have adopted them, other than I think Germany did, but at least for some forces, was the Australians.
I believe it was the Austrians and the Australians. It was both the AUS
Oh,
for the
there-
AUGs.
Austrians and the Australians, yeah. I think they're a great idea. You know, they still have the bullpup trigger, but you know.
Hey, Bob, you know what kind of bayonet fits on one of those?
No, what kind?
If I'm not mistaken, doesn't the Glock
Glock knife.
knife actually work as the bayonet on the AUG?
It does.
See,
Oh my God!
yeah, see, mind
Glock's got their fingers
blown.
everywhere.
And I don't know if you're gonna those Glock knives straight out the box. I think I ended up getting mine for the Secret Santa stuff a year or two ago, whatever it was, on gun channels. And I'll tell you what, straight out the box, those things are sharp. Like, no lie, like, not kidding at all. Like, sharp,
Yeah.
sharp.
Did you cut yourself?
No, but I cut the shit out of that box.
Yeah. They definitely come with an edge. Now, how durable is that edge? I don't know, but they definitely come nicely sharpened. And a lot of times I've noticed with knives I've bought, they don't always come with that nice sharp edge. You have to. That's one of the first things you kind of need to do.
That was what I was gonna get at. Is, man, it goes right through watermelon like no problem.
So, but I'm just amazed. Like, it's a plastic knife. I mean, don't they break?
No, the
It's a
knife
steel
itself
knife.
isn't plastic.
Oh, I thought
silly
everything
silly
was
guy.
plastic.
We'll stab him with one. He'll remember.
Right, you know what, G? Yeah, you break it down for him next time you see him about the efficacy of the Glock knives, and maybe he will want one in his camper.
Maybe.
Oh, you will. Trust me.
Maybe.
Now he's just being obtuse.
No,
So-
I have a really cool knife that Huck made me. I don't really need another, like a.
So what makes it special or unique, Bob?
The
the
knife
Steyr
Huck
AUG?
made?
The Steyr AUG?
Yes.
Well, because it's a bullpup, and it's one of the earliest bullpups. Probably, I think, was it? No, there was some other ones really early, but I think it was one of the earliest bullpups adopted by, like I say, military forces.
And it's probably one of the most battle-tested bullpups. It's probably the longest tenured bullpups.
Yep.
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that it's probably one of the most reliable bullpups. Now, me not having shot one, it's only going by reviews and books and videos that I have seen to be able to say that. So.
Now, I just saw something, and I got to give credit where credit was due, and it's not me, but it is August.
Yeah, G-Web's definitely.
Yes.
You get the gold star for that. It is definitely AU.
That's Sean over here.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. I was wondering if anybody was going to catch that little bit.
And on the first and everything. That's awesome. And thank you again, Sean Ponnery.
Okay.
You're an
Anything else,
asset
Bob?
to the show.
All right, I'm gonna throw in the healthy tip real quick. So every day I like to throw in a healthy tip. Eating salad, it's easy way to stay healthy or whatever, but then it's a super easy thing to grow in containers around your house, so it's a great way to save money and involve the kids and create oxygen and all that kind of stuff. Just makes the place a healthier place to be around. It makes your yard more healthy. So makes everybody more healthy, considerate.
Oh yeah, I mean whether it's 5-gallon buckets, any type of plastic container, wood container, let alone in the ground or in flower beds or whatever, it's easy to grow like tomatoes and cucumbers and stuff like that.
Onions?
Lettuce, onions are real easy too. Carrots are easy. Um, Now lettuce, depending on where you live, can be easy, can be tough, depending on where you live, what your available light is, or like if you're like G-Webs, like that stuff better be literally in the shade all day. It just should go on the ambient light from around it, but it better be in the shade for the rest of it, or
But
it'll just wilt.
But yeah, it's that easy though. So, and that's the kind of stuff that as it grows, you just peel leaves off, or tomatoes as they're growing, you just peel tomatoes off, and
Yep.
you're like, you got so many you're sharing.
And sometimes with tomatoes as well, you'll see that after certain branches or whatever, they do all the fruiting basically, and you take them off, and they will start to die a little bit. You can prune or trim that back, and the plant itself will continue to throw out fresher shoots and stuff like that. Just a little tidbit of information there. I've had growing up, we had gardens and canning and all that kind of stuff, and there's been a few times out here in places that I've lived that I've been able to do both in the ground and in containers for garden stuff. Especially since like cucumbers and bell peppers and tomatoes and stuff like that are expensive out here, like ridiculous. Every time I hear G-Webs talk about going to the 99-cent paradise or whatever, and he comes back with like 10, 12 bucks in vegetables, I'm like, dude, that's $30+ in vegetables here, easy.
Well, that's $30 across the street at Walmart.
Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, then it would be even more than here, basically. So that's definitely one thing that actually I got soil and containers and seed ready for me to get off my old Colay.
Well, when it comes to produce anywhere, it's expensive, and you never know who's pooped on it or peed on it or whatever happened to it on the way to you. Plus, tomatoes taste like crap at the store. So, if you haven't ate a real, well, you probably never ate a real tomato if you're a millennial kid, unless you have a grandma or somebody who knows how to grow a tomato.
All those woody beefsteaks, even sometimes the not the Romanos, but I'm trying to think of they're more oblong, oval. But anyway, this isn't the tomato off.
All right, so today in history, August 1st, 1917 is when the application for the patent was filed on the Browning automatic rifle. So I guess we can count today as its anniversary. Are they saying that's 99 years? Yeah, I guess that makes it 99 years old.
That's definitely on the list of ones I would like, if ever given the chance.
Bob doesn't respect it enough to make it the gun of the day or anything, but I figured we might as well bring it up as part of history.
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah. I mean, it's 30-06. It's a 20-round mag.
I know Bob's
awesome.
feels this way about most
But,
inventions.
I mean, really,
Just get used to it after a while.
yeah, well, I actually just prefer different.
I mean, does Bob not like it because it has a 20-round magazine? Is that what the holdup is on all of that?
It's small magazine.
Oh, wait a minute. How many round magazines for your rifles can you have up there?
Ah, yes, but I mean, for a weapon of war, what we would use would be something different.
Oh, I'm just talking about having one of those. I'm not talking about
Well, I'd like to have
war
one.
with it. Yeah, that's all I'm saying, Bob.
Bob,
Yeah.
a weapon of war is the one you have.
If you're in war.
Is you.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, don't discriminate, Bob.
Yeah.
Appreciate, my friend. Appreciate.
All right. So,
Well, I like the caliber. I have to say that. I do like 30-06.
have you shot a bar?
No.
Has anybody shot a bar?
No,
No, I
but
have
that's
not.
on the list when I go to Vegas. It's
Yeah,
definitely
I
on the
think
list when I go to
that
Vegas.
big one, or Battlefield Vegas. I'm sure they've got one.
You better win a
Does
whole lot of
BB have
money.
one?
Who?
Does BB have one at hers?
I didn't see all of her guns, so I don't know. Plus, she has her own guns. She works with Machine Gun Vegas, but she's got her own stuff too. So I bet you she probably does. She likes
Yeah.
the old stuff, or the World War II stuff, I think.
I follow her on Instagram or whatever, so every once in a while she's throwing up some interesting stuff. I definitely would want to. I would definitely be interested in running into her if I ever am in Vegas. Seems like a very nice lady.
Like G-Web's already said she likes the old stuff, so
Bob claimed her. Sorry, Z. So,
Nice.
Kvar is prone with the bipod and then standing up and holding them, and they're neat. They got a weird cadence to them, and they're huge, and they're shooting up giant rounds, so they're definitely worth shooting. But like Bob says, if you're going to go through all the trouble, at least right now, go through all the trouble NFA and then the cost because there's not very many of them. 20 round mag seems like you might as well go something where you can have more fun and shoot it a little cheaper, 308 or whatever. But once we get rid of the stupid NFA and somebody starts reproducing them, they're going to be a fun one because they got a lot of history.
Bonnie and Clyde.
I still like the Bren gun better though.
And then the movie's made about Bonnie and Clyde.
No, wait a minute. I got a
We're going to put that in a
contention point.
Bren
Just
versus Kvar.
Bren right off the stop. What are you using for your sight radius, your sight picture on a Bren gun, Bob?
The sights are offset. They work fine. Gunny already did a thing where he compared the two, and the Bren gun won hands down over the Browning. And it was Gunny, right? So he knows.
Once I watch the video, I'll critique it from that point. But up until that point, no, I'm disagreeing.
All right.
I mean, I'll leave it at that. I'm fine. We can discuss this at another time, but it's going to take a lot of convincing.
Well, something a lot more fun than snapping. How about the movie? That looks pretty interesting.
I don't think he's even seen this one. The
Nope.
Punisher Warzone. Anybody seen this one?
Like everybody tells me it's the best Punisher movie.
You seriously haven't seen it?
No, I will. It's on the list.
I was just kidding. I didn't know you didn't see a movie. So is this the new one?
No, this is the 2008.
Yes, that is the newest one.
And it is on IMDb. It is 6 out of 10.
Dan was saying there's the new other one on Daredevil, right?
Right, but that's not a movie.
Right.
Punisher Warzone is a movie, and that Punisher Warzone is the newest of the Punisher movies.
Right, not the John Travolta's the bad guy one.
That was before.
Not the cheesy one that nobody likes.
I love the Dolph Lundgren Punisher. What are you talking about?
So this one here that we're talking about today, then I don't like it either. So it's lame, and I didn't like it. But I've only seen it once, so I'll have to watch it again, I guess. So that's the whole point of this, right? So that we remind people of movies. So looks like Z's got some homework. And Bob, you seen this one?
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah, I think it's great.
Okay, you did like it. See, I didn't like how he had to go into that guy's house with his grandma or something to get the guns. It just seemed dumb. Like, if you're going to make Punisher, don't make it a drama about the guy who's giving you the guns, his family. Just give us the damn guns. But, like I say, I only remember whenever this came out 2008, so I guess I saw it 8 years ago. You seen this one, Dana?
No, I have not.
All right, well, that'll be a short one then today. So, otherwise, though, the new one in Daredevil is worth watching. Everybody agrees, right?
Oh, yeah, that Punisher is with John Bernthal or whatever his name is, Shane from Walking Dead, basically. He's definitely a good person to play the Punisher.
Oh, yeah. And
Frank Castle.
Yeah, the upside is he doesn't have to talk much, which is probably good.
Yeah, Punisher shouldn't be saying nothing.
Punisher is a man of few words anyway. He believes in action, not in words.
And I like the format of the hour-long, like a whole bunch of hour-long things. I look forward to something like that for Punisher more than a movie, because a movie
you get way more character development out of it. Because think about it, if it's a season, think of the season as a movie. So that's technically a 10 to 13 hour movie. You can definitely build a lot more character and subplot and stuff like that.
Yeah,
where you can fully develop that character.
And hopefully they don't just give him like 3 guns that he uses the whole time, but give him a chance to choose from.
Oh, not the Punisher. No, they better not. I mean, even in any of the other movies, he didn't have just 3 guns.
Or some kind of shit where he's like, oh, he's the Punisher, but the new rebranding Punisher is he's just all hand-to-hand, or like he just verbally abuses people or something.
And that was the other thing is Punisher doesn't need a specific weapon. He's qualified or able to utilize anything. Like I remember in the one with Thomas Jane and John Travolta that we were just talking about, when he picks up the pot of boiling water, he throws the boiling water into Diesel's face. and then basically smashes him in the skull with the pot. I mean, so
Well, Priest brings up something that sometimes they drew him in the comic books like freaking Superman or Hulk or something, and then other times you just look like a normal dude. And I think Punisher should just look like a Marine, like a normal muscular person, and not like some like bodybuilder or something who
Can't fit into his armor and shit because I like the. Well, the movies have done a pretty good job. That first one, I think that's one of the reasons I didn't like it because they tried to make him like a bodybuilder, right, or a giant dude.
well, Dolph Lundgren is a giant dude.
That's what I mean. But either they picked him because they wanted him to be like that kind of Punisher, the big drawn one, or they just picked him anyway, and that's how it came across. Because you know what I'm saying, it just looks different when the dude.
I tell you what, if the writing would have been a little bit better for that movie, and or the production value, because let's be honest, they didn't give him a huge budget, you would love that Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher, man. I'm just saying.
Well,
I could be wrong.
A couple of things. It was made back in the day, so we're judging it super harshly against everything that's like just has way more resources to be better. But then the problem with it is still going to always be that it took Punisher out of the comic books and put it on the movie. And since they didn't do it perfectly, then it'll, you know what I'm saying, it's just always going to have that.
It'll always be critiqued
because it's
for
the
it. Yeah,
first
I
thing
definitely.
out of all of our imaginations, and then once they start doing it, now we can compare them to each other, and then they just lost out because they were the first, and they tried to make it weird or whatever with the kind of 80s amusement park. I don't know what they're trying to do with all that, but again, like you say, budget. They're probably just trying to stretch their budget as much as they could. Anyway.
All right, let me go ahead and take this opportunity for a moment to talk about Patreon. We'd like to keep the lights on going here, and we like to keep bringing this show to you, but it does cost some money. So I like to encourage you to do one of two things. One, if you can afford it, let me make sure my screen is correct here. For $12.99 a month, you can get a different patch each month that is only available through this reward over on Patreon. But I understand not everybody can necessarily swing that every month. If you can even sign up for $1 a month, think of all the shows that you're getting for $1. That's like a nickel a show, or is it less than that? But it's like virtually almost free.
The nickel a show, 20, so that's 20 shows, yeah.
Yep. And it's like, where can you get this amount of education, entertainment, and general BS sometimes filled in there in between the cracks, so to speak, for that kind of price? You can't. So if you can't do the $12.99, that's cool. Can you give us, throw in the tip jar $1 a month? We'd really appreciate it. So thank you.
Thanks for doing that, Dan. And then I'm going to add something that I'm trying out today, which is if you look on my screen right now on all the channels, you'll see that I've got the chat coming up from the Daily Gun Show's YouTube channel where we're live, and then I've got the chat coming up from Gun Channels where we are simulcasting it. So we're able to watch both chats on my screen right here, but I'm actually recording this screen on my Gun Website's YouTube channel live. And so I guess, let me go jump over there and look. If there's anybody watching over there, we have 7 people watching over there, and they're participating a little bit. And what they're going to see, though, is that both chats happening. So anybody that's participating in the chats or commenting or whatever, this is being captured, and we're going to post this over on Patreon. So in other words, the Patreon people will get a chance to listen to the show in a little bit different format, in that they'll listen to the same audio that everybody else is listening to on iTunes or everywhere else, but they would be able to watch the live chats. The live chats typically are going to disappear when the live event is over. It's a what do they call it, a temporary thing. They exist while the live chat is happening, and then they disappear, and a new comment section happens once it turns into a video. So in order to kind of keep the conversation recorded and then to offer something to the people over doing Patreon, I think anything as low as, like Dano said, $1 a month will make you a patron, and then patrons will have access to this video. I don't know if that's all that interesting to people, but I figured it doesn't cost us much extra to do it. It doesn't cost us anything extra to do it except to do it. So we're going to try that out for a bit and see if people think that's cool. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it isn't there. Isn't there also sticker of the month or something over on Patreon, or was I mistaken on that?
Yeah, there is. In fact, there's, I think, 5 people already signed up for that, and those are all going out today. This was our first month of doing it this way, so I guess 4 people are signed up for the sticker level. You'll get a whole bunch of stickers and going out at the first of the month like this, and then the 3 of you guys that signed up for the patches will get, the patches are actually being sewn right now. You'll get a patch sent out to you. And
one thing we do want to add out there, folks, that if you do end up with the patches or the stickers or anything like that, another good way that is to share it. You know, whether you're taking pictures with them or you're putting it on Instagram or you're posting it to Facebook or whatever. The sharing on the social media is another way to be able to either get more viewers or get more Patreons or get more members at gunchannels.com. You know, it kind of all is tied together in an amazing web of social media. I mean, we even reach out to Twitter. I mean, there it is.
So I think
right.
we hit pretty much everything, right?
I got one thing, but that's on our way out.
And then I'm going to click on this thing after Bob does his quote. This thing here.
Okay, before he does his quote, let me go ahead and do my thing. And that's talk about gun channels tonight. Tonight, being Monday, we've got Never Enough Ammo on. We've got Locked and Loaded, as well as We Like Shooting on gun channels tonight.
Right on. So I think that'll be wrap it up. Bob will do a quote. I will hit the end of the broadcast message that we do. And then I've got another extra special piece of audio. Since we can't monetize this, we can play around with some playing around like I did yesterday. Just throwing a song at the end. So I've got something that I saw off of Facebook yesterday that I thought was worth sharing. And if you feel like it, you can stick around. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow.
Aloha.
And on that, we'll end it with the quote of the day. This one's by Donald L. Klein. Keeping and bearing arms is not only a fundamental right, it is a fundamental duty upon which all liberty and sovereignty is based. So let's keep that in mind, guys. And thanks everybody for watching and listening. And we'll see you all tomorrow.
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on and behind the lines, this is your song.
In your life, where it's the right time to do a great thing. If you're waiting for that perfect moment, that perfect time, it's not going to happen. You know what you have to do? You have to create the perfect time and the perfect opportunity and the perfect situation. So a lot of people become comfortable. They stop growing. They stop wanting anything. They become satisfied. People getting ready to go to jobs that they don't like. Jobs that are making them sick. You see, when you're not pursuing your goal, you are literally committing spiritual suicide. When you have some goal out here that you're stretching for and reaching for that takes you out of your comfort zone, you'll find out some talents and abilities you have that you didn't know you have. When the messenger of misery visits you, what are you going to do? What will keep you in the game? There are things that you think you'll never need to know, that you may only need to know one time in your life, but that could save your life because you have that knowledge. Unless you attempt to do something beyond that which you've already mastered, you will never grow. What is it that you looked at some point in time and you decided that you couldn't do it, that you talked yourself out of it? You're waiting on your next door neighbor to make it happen for you. It may not happen. If you're waiting on your mother or your father, they may be so ancient in their thinking that they don't understand this opportunity. opportunity that you have. And if you're waiting on them, it may never get done. You don't beg average people to be phenomenal. You don't beg good people to be phenomenal. You just are phenomenal, and you will attract phenomenal. What reason can you remember that you can call on, that you can reach on, that can make you get back up? Find that reason. If you're not where you are, if you're not where you want to be, if you don't have what you want to have, if you're not where you think you should be at this particular place, it has nothing to do with the system, but it has everything to do with the fact that you're not making the sacrifice. I want you to make that dream become a reality, because if you don't, you will be working for somebody else to make their dreams become a reality. Everybody is against you or don't believe in you no more. And let me tell you something, that's a lonely feeling. It's a lonely feeling, particularly people that you're doing it for. Most people take their greatness, take their ideas to the graveyard with them. Listen to me, if it was easy, everybody would do it. There are people right now who are working who don't want to work. There are people who hate their jobs, but they keep getting up to do it. The wealthiest place on the planet is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, we will find inventions that we never, ever were exposed to. Ideas, dreams that never became reality. Hopes and aspirations that were never acted upon. The question is, what are you going to do with your time? What drives you? Greatness is a lot of small things done well. Day after day, workout after workout, obedience after obedience, day after day. When things don't work out for you, when things happen that you could not anticipate, what are the reasons that you can think of that can keep you strong? You will never, ever be successful until you turn your pain into greatness, until you allow your pain to push you from where you are to push you to where you need to be. Stop running from your pain and embrace your pain. Your pain is going to be a part of your pride, a part of your product. I challenge you to push yourself. See, it's easy to be on the bottom. It doesn't take any effort to be a loser. It doesn't take any motivation, any drive in order to stay down there on a low level. But it calls on everything in you. You have to harness your will to say, I'm going to challenge myself. I mean, what you did last week don't count. Today is only important day. There are 86,400 seconds in a day, and how you use those are critical. You got 86,400 today, and what you do today is going to see there who you are. Nobody's going to talk about what you did last week. That the biggest enemy you have to deal with is yourself. There's an old African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. You have this opportunity of a lifetime. It means absolutely nothing if you don't take advantage of it in the lifetime of this opportunity. I got a saying that when life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. If you want a thing bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life seems useless and worthless without it. See, it's time now. If you want to make this your decade, you've got to start saying yes to your life. You've got to start saying yes to your dreams, yes to your unfolding future, yes to your potential, as opposed to saying no. When you die, die on E. Leave no dream left behind, guys. Leave no opportunity left behind. When you leave this earth, accomplish every single thing you can accomplish. Listen to me, you're going to be here one day, but you'll never get here if you give up, if you give in, if you quit. And finally, guys, you got to want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe.